Global collaboration is really very important for advancement of humanity. Evidence is everywhere to how much we can achieve as a human community if we all work together.
This pandemic was one great example of where science could band together, but because science is a common language that the world speaks over, it's actually a great conduit for the Fulbright program.
I'm the chief investigator of a platform UK-wide clinical trial that's actually the world's first clinical trial looking to see if we can find interventions to improve the long-term outcomes of patients with COVID-19. The importance of communication and public engagement is something that was really emphasised during Fulbright, and I think the skills that I developed as part of the Fulbright program have helped me no end during the pandemic with that.
So upon returning to the US from the Fulbright program, we created the first US Pasteur Institute as part of the international network. It induced a collaboration that has gone on for years. The strength of this program was truly exemplified by the most recent COVID-19 pandemic, where international collaboration and shared knowledge just really propelled everybody's research program and allowed everybody to move and make progress at a speed that was unparalleled to anything that had happened before. The international community, brought together by both Fulbright and as a community at large, was essential to develop vaccines and understand therapeutic interventions to help save lives for the onslaught of COVID-19.
Returning from the Fulbright in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, I found myself wanting to use the skills that I developed during my Fulbright to contribute to the efforts to respond to the pandemic. I found an opportunity to work in a laboratory in Los Angeles that started off processing about 10% of the COVID-19 tests for the state of California. Fulbright has taught me how to develop meaningful collaborations, and I think that that is so important, especially in science.
President Sirleaf asked me to serve initially as head of the Ebola task force. When the Ebola broke out, there was really no experience in country. The death toll was rising. But then eventually, the international community started to rally around the country. The president established an incident management system, and then, given my logistics background, I continued to provide, to work as the logistics and essentially operational head of the entire response. Liberia has had a very recent turbulent past. Now we're working with the government to support and strengthen the delivery of mental health services in the country.
The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to MSF. I was president when it was awarded, and I accepted the prize on behalf of the organization. And it was awarded really in recognition of its many years of humanitarian service to people in need around the world. The majority of people in the world actually have virtually no access to any form of formal health care. And the majority of people in the world really do suffer enormously as a consequence of a lack of access. In keeping with the spirit of the Fulbright, I encourage collaboration. I encourage working across borders, and I very much believe that by working together around common problems, that we can achieve really important results.
I went to Lima, Peru. I have loved being a part of that university, especially the fact that they have such a dire need to produce nurses, and those nurses can go in the community and can impact healthcare. We have sustained a relationship. I implemented a program here at UA at the Capstone College of Nursing, looking at Latino associate degree nurses, getting them into the BSN program, and encouraging them to continue their education.
I lost my vision from a young age. I was around 4 years old. I remember my dad bought one of those computers, and I started playing around with it as well, and that's when I think my love for programming developed. And I have been working for Google since 2012. We're trying to implement technology that would enable software to read out the screen for websites. We have to be very sensitive of internationalization. So how do these people experience the internet? How do they, through which software, people who are blind, let's say, or partially sighted, or hard of hearing, or with motor disabilities, or with cognitive disabilities, how can we improve their lives by giving them better access to the internet? I work on things that are meaningful, and they change the lives of people that I have in my everyday life around me. So other people with disabilities that I know, they benefit.
The mission of Fulbright to have international connectedness and collaboration and understanding could not be more important than here now in 2021.